Welcome to Board Gems. In this video, I'll compare two editions of Corné van Moorsel's Basketboss. On the left is 2009's Cwali edition. Cwali is Corné van Moorsel's own company. On the right is the newer 2022, I believe, edition of Basketboss, published by BoardGameTables.com/Allplay. For the rest of this video, I'll just call them Allplay. Both boxes are pretty standard in size for their respective companies. Cwali's is kind of long and flat. Allplay's is shorter and flat, much smaller. Allplay games tend to have a very small footprint. They're about the same thickness. The backs of both boxes show a gameplay state, with Allplay also showing a close-up of the very cool player board. Of course, the Allplay edition is monolingual, so it has larger text and is generally easier to read for English speakers, whereas Cwali's edition is multilingual, English, German, French, and Dutch. Player range is the same. The original said 50 minutes, the new edition says 40. Personally, I think the original is closer to accurate. And the age range is 10 and up in the old and 11 and up in the new. I don't know why 11 and up. Having a little peek at the insides of the boxes. The Cwali edition is pretty jam-packed with stuff, but of course it also has a cardboard insert, a generic cardboard insert, which you shouldn't feel guilty throwing away. Like other Allplay games, this does not have an insert. The box is not quite as packed as some other Allplay games. Visible in this is the upgraded trophies. I'll show you the original cardboard trophies later. These ones are metal trophies. They were an upgrade from the Kickstarter. The Cwali rulebook is multilingual, so of course it's quite large, but it goes into detail, has lots of examples. As is usual for Allplay, the rulebook is very brief, which points to the game's simplicity, but perhaps a little too brief. It's not a crazy simple game. Here are the central boards. A bit of an odd score track in the original, but also places to place the players, as well as the specialists, little player aid, and a place to stack money. Don't actually use that. The money will just tip over if you put too much on there. The rule for minimum and maximum number of players that come out every round, that number is variable, and the rule is a little bit hard to explain. The Cwali edition shows a range of spaces, which will remind you of the minimum and maximum and otherwise the rule regarding how much money the players are worth. So you can see kind of the ranges built into the track. Instead, they just have a player aid in the new edition. The new edition is mostly just a scoreboard. I'd also like to point out the difference in the player aids regarding the trophies. You see, in the original, the trophies were worth different amounts of points based on number of players. You can see the bronze is worth 4 points in a 5-player game, but is worth 2 points in a 4-player game, and not used at all in 2 and 3. In the new edition, the trophies have preset point values, which is a little bit easier. It's not as precise as the way Cwali did it, but definitely easier to play with. Another note is that the Cwali edition has a little player aid in terms of the steps, which is not present in the new edition. And actually this player aid is slightly different in the new edition, that the higher one specialists, or take a medal, has actually shifted and would go between win trophies and earn income. The players. They're cardboard tiles in the original. They are thin cards in the new, but they're larger and arguably clearer. Both editions have satirical names. It is strongly recommended you don't look at the satirical names in the original. Some of them are acceptable, like a spoonerism, Barry Lurd, like okay, but Almost, Dinosaurus, Show We, what the... Oh my god, these hurt my brain. The newer edition has satirical names based on actual players. I mean, I'm not a basketball fan, but I do know of Scottie Pippendor and Steve Nash. Note the original shows the player heights in meters, which are used as a tiebreaker and is also used to decide which player gets injured. The logic being that the taller players tend to get injured more. In the new edition, instead, it's the most valuable player. The injured player tokens / cards are at the bottom. The Cwali edition has a season bar, which you fold over on the ends and then use a sticker to keep it in place. So it's kind of raised and has bars on either side. So you place it over the players and you just slide the season bar down as the players get older. In Allplay, you'll actually slide the individual player cards up and down and it obscures the old years. Works great. A little bit more prone to error, because like, did I move that one already? Or maybe I accidentally moved it 2 spaces. Cwali edition is a little less prone to error. Some of the tokens in the game, as I mentioned earlier, the trophies in the original are worth variable numbers of points based on number of players. Allplay simplified that by having each trophy worth the same number of points. That's at the top. In the middle is the currency. In the original, they were a special currency called Baskos. I don't think any player in any game of Basketboss ever said they were going to offer 2 Baskos for a player. So very simple buck-like tokens in the new. And the medals. A player can take a medal instead of an advisor, or in the new edition, one of the advisors says to take a medal. The medals are impossibly tiny in the original. They are thankfully larger in the new. In the original, there were 4 specialists, and you can forego taking a specialist to take 1 medal, which is worth 1 point. In the Allplay edition, the option to take a 1-point medal is an advisor. It bugs me in the original that there are 4 advisors and one of them is a bank. I wish they had a person. They're relatively equivalent to the top 4 advisors. The billionaire investor is different. There is a new advisor called the physical therapist. Works quite well. I like the choice of the advisors. In the original, you keep the advisors, and then if somebody wants to take an advisor from you, they can, but they have to pay a small amount of money. In the new edition, you just return all the advisors at the end of a round so you can claim a new one. I like the new way better. And obviously having the text on the cards to explain what they do is very helpful. These are the player tokens for keeping score. We can have a look at the teams, which show the names in the original, and they're larger score tokens with stickers. The new has pre-printed icons on the smaller wooden tokens to show the logos for the teams. Allplay used references to some of their other games as team names, which works fine for some, like the bears and the ghosts, and even the mountain goats. But the beetles, the ants, these are not great basketball team names. Finally, some components only present in the new edition, not shown as the player marker, which is large and round and looks like a basketball. I guess you can picture it. On the top are pass and bid cards. Pass on one side, bid on the other. Each player has one, each team has one, to show whether they're still in the auction or not. Not really necessary. If you pass, you take your money back, so anybody who's still in the auction is somebody who has money in front of them, but whatever. On the bottom show some special cards. The game takes place over a number of rounds, each round being a season, and each season has the same rules in the original. In the new edition, they add these cards that change the rules a tiny bit for every season. I don't play with these personally, but if treated like a little mini expansion, why not? Completely fine. Thanks for watching. Older games like Basketboss don't stop being good just because newer games come out. But you knew that already, didn't you? Take care.